A major relief for skilled professionals and a major second legal setback for Donald Trump. A U.S. federal court has struck down Trump's $1 lakh fee on new H-1B visas, ruling that such a levy requires congressional approval. The court declared the measure unlawful and invalidated it. The ruling is especially significant for India, with Indians accounting for nearly 70% of all H-1B visa holders. The decision removes a major financial hurdle for thousands seeking work opportunities in the United States. The American dream has now received a court-ordered lifeline, with the $1 lakh H-1B fee now off the table. So the court had to intervene. The H-1B is America's most sought-after work visa for highly skilled professionals. It allows U.S. companies to hire foreign talent in sectors such as technology, engineering, and finance. The visa requires employer sponsorship, is initially valid for 3 years, and it can be extended up to 6 years, making it a key gateway to career opportunities in the United States of America. Let's now tell you what the federal judge Leo Sorokin said against the order of the Trump administration against the $1 lakh H-1B visa fee. So the judge called it unconstitutional ruling that only Congress has the authority to levy taxes. The judge also said the executive branch has exceeded its powers, terming the policy arbitrary and capricious. The court noted that it would severely harm public sector hiring, and now the controversial presidential policy has been vacated. So it's a setback for the Trump administration. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has expressed frustration over the court's decision. He has criticized the judges, claiming that their decision is hurting America. So it's yet another setback for Donald Trump as far as the H-1B visa fee is concerned. And you heard his reaction. Donald Trump certainly is not happy about that. He says that he's going to challenge this in the higher court. The U.S. court's ruling goes far beyond the H-1B fee itself. It reinforces that the presidency cannot bypass Congress matters of taxation and revenue. The verdict also makes it easier for public institutions and universities to hire global talent and specialized researchers. For thousands of Indians seeking opportunities in U.S., it removes a major financial barrier while delivering a clear message that immigration reform cannot be driven by executive decree alone. So that's what the court's message seems to be. This is the second major legal setback, in fact, for the Trump administration. Remember the tariff judgment by U.S. Supreme Court? It had also given similar observations. Let's, in fact, break down the details of that particular observation of the court as far as the tariff issue is concerned. Number one, government reads IEEPA gives power to unilaterally impose tariffs. And this is the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Observation number two, it represents expansion of precedent's authority on the tariff policy. Number three, no precedent has invoked the statutes of the IEEPA to impose such tariffs. It hasn't happened in the past. Observation number four, IEEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. The court made it clear that the Trump administration cannot do so. Observation number five, court says nothing about whether the government should now return the money or not. This is what the U.S. Supreme Court had to say in its observations. Despite the measures by Trump administration, the grip of Indian professionals on H-1B visa remains firm. So let's break down the details in terms of where do these countries stand as far as the highest number of applications for the H-1B visa is concerned. Number one in that list is India with 2,83,397 H-1B visa holders. In terms of percentage, that is around 71. Number two in that list is China with 46,680 H-1B visa holders. It's 11.7%. Philippines, 5,248 visa holders, H-1B visa holders. That's about 1.3% of the total number of H-1B visa holders. Canada, 4,222. That's about 1.1%. South Korea has 3,983 H-1B visa holders. That's about 1%. And the source for this data is USCIS Homeland Department. And this is for financial year 25, the H-1B report. So India holds the grip. Let's now also tell you about the reason behind this. Why do you think us Indians top that chart when it comes to the H-1B visa? 71% of the total number of H-1B visa holders are Indians. Of course, for a better lifestyle, for jobs in the tech industry. Let's break down the details for you. So if you talk about the average pay for an Indian, and we're talking about the tech industry, it is about 9.15 lakh here in India, okay, per annum. But if you talk about the similar pay, an average pay in US for the same job in the same industry, it's about 1.3 CR. So this is 9.15 lakh rupees and 1.3 CR. Do you see the difference? This is the reason why Indians are chasing the American dream. And this is only for the tech industry. But what does that mean for us in terms of brain drain? On one hand, of course, we have the highest number of H-1B visa holders. And that setback for India means a relief for all those H-1B visa holders, Indians. But as far as brain drain is concerned, that is definitely the biggest concern at the moment, and not just in these times in 2026, but that has constantly been a big challenge for the governments. India's talent continues to power the global workforce. Indians account for 71% of the H-1B visa approvals, while over 1 million have surrendered their passports since 2019. And it's not just US, Canada, Australia, the UAE and Europe are all competing for Indian talent. But the bigger question is, can India stem this brain drain? Let me, in fact, open this up. Let me go across to our guests. We have Dr. Brahmachelani, strategic affairs expert, and Ambassador Dr. Jeffrey Gunter, former US diplomat. Thank you very much for giving us your time. I want to first go across to Mr. Gunter. Another setback, first, of course, on the issue of tariff, and now on the issue of the H-1B visa fee. Many, in fact, would also today highlight the setback in terms of slashing funds for Harvard University. And the observations remain to be the same. Looks like the executive here is trying to exceed its authority.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. And let there be no misunderstanding. The great country of India provides amazing, amazing talent when it comes to technology. Whether it's Satya, whether it's Sundar, some of the great, well-known great leaders of great tech companies in America. All that being said, President Trump is implementing America First policies, where you put America first. It's a great honor and a great privilege to be able to come to America. It's more than just a disparity in actual payment. It's the ability to be around the best and the brightest in the entire world. If you don't believe me, look at Microsoft. If you don't believe me, look at Google, who are led by great Indian originals. So it really is a great thing to be able to come to America. And President Trump has the full authority and the power to put a $100,000 price tag on those H-1B visas.
No,
it's
not
a privilege.
apparently not as per the courts. Not as per...
Right, correct. But remember, the courts are deciding political issues. The federal court needs to decide things as the law, not in terms of what's politically appetizing for them at the moment. And we've seen it across the boards when they were trying to tell Marco Rubio and President Trump how to act on foreign policy. It's just purely a political decision on the part of the courts.
Is it really a political decision?
No. And Trump will fight it.
Is this really a political decision? Was it taken? Keeping in mind how it would play out for the domestic audience there? Because if you go by what the observation of the judges are and how the Congress is responding to all of this, it seems Donald Trump, the president of US, is exceeding his authority. Was this done keeping in mind the domestic politics?
I don't believe that for a second. I believe that we imposed. I think the cost of your H-1B visa is about $6,000 to $10,000 by the sponsoring country. That means we should be able to increase that number. And it's politics. Let's face it. We've seen the federal judiciary do this on many aspects, and it's not in the best interest of America. They've tried to do it with foreign policy. They're trying to do it now with an H-1B visa. And I understand the concern of the great Indian people. As you know, I've been on your show multiple times talking about the greatness of Modi and the great relationship that President Trump has with Modi. But in this particular instance, I believe the federal courts in the United States of America are being political.
Isn't that a little bit of a contradiction there, Dr. Brahmachelani? Because it all sounds good when you have to cite names of successful individuals in America of Indian origin. and you talk about...
Very successful.
No,
very successful.
Okay, very successful. Let me say very successful. And then you come up with such decisions when you very well know how it is going to impact Indians.
You're absolutely right. In fact, whether it's the H-1B issue or now the Section 301 tariffs, India is bearing the brunt of Trump's coercive negotiation playbook. The fact is that Trump aggressively uses economic levers. His unilateral economic levers have injected significant friction into the relationship with India. Now, the H-1B fee scrapping by the federal court is only a temporary victory for the Indian tech sector. In fact, by raising the fee on H-1B visas, the aim was to harm the operating margins of Indian IT giants, as well as the US tech firms heavily reliant on Indian talent. Had the fee stood, it would have structurally disincentivized the hiring of Indian tech professionals. So, there are a number of steps that Trump has taken since his return to office that have directly or indirectly targeted India. And the irony is that his re-election was very warmly welcomed by India. Nobody anticipated that Trump's second presidency would bring the US-India relationship to a new low. The relationship has been harmed to an extent that will require years of efforts to restore the vitality of this relationship.
Dr. Gunter, Donald Trump has also, not just through the measures or through the moves, but also through some statements made it clear that the intent is not also pure. When he says India's economy is dead, or when he calls countries like India hellholes, and then to make things good with India, he appears on this phone conversation on speaker saying that he has a great relationship with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There are a lot of flip-flops there.
I view it a little differently. I view that actions speak louder than words. And let's start with the great ambassador that you have, Sergio Gore. I'm telling you, Sergio Gore is one of the most influential ambassadors, not only that we have in the Trump administration currently, but we've ever seen from an ambassadorial level. That's number one. Number two, let's look at $500 billion trade deals that we're doing with India. Let's look at the great support that we're getting for the Quad from, America, India, Japan, and Australia. I would push back really respectfully to your great panelists. I think the relationship between America and India is strong. I think we are great allies. I think we have very clear adversaries or people that we're pushing against, whether it's China, whether it's Russia, and most importantly, whether it's Iran. We are grounded in democracy. We work together. We're going to have our differences. It's like a family around a family holiday, around a table. You're going to have disagreements, but at the end of the day, India has a great influence on America. America has a great influence on India, and we're all going to succeed together. And I'm not just drinking the Kool-Aid. I actually believe that there's a really bright horizon for all of us going forward.
So then why does that not reflect in the statements? You want to do a deal with us. Of course, we want to do a deal with you. But at the same time, you call our economy dead. You take an action of imposing $1 lakh on the H-1B visa as fee, which the Congress says is like creating a new tax without their approval, which is going to hurt us Indians. So, actions don't match what Donald Trump is saying.
Well, they matter. And we've all, including your great Prime Minister Modi, have been in negotiations with people. And at the end of the day, it's about making a deal. At the end of the day, it's about the behavior and the actions. And we have two great democracies. And I know it's no fun to watch the negotiations. I get it. It's watching the sausage being made. As a diplomat, I understand that. But I also understand that we have a great, great relationship with India. And India has made huge contributions to the United States of America. Go look at Microsoft. Go look at Google. Go look at the wonderful Kash Patel, who's one of the leading law enforcement officers
why do you want to challenge this
in America.
So then why do you want to challenge this in a higher court? Why do you want to
because
stop
it's America first.
Why do you want to stop those countries from hiring skilled professionals?
Because it's America first, and we have to put Americans first. And when we put America first policy, we are then available to help our great friends like India and other great allies around the world. We have to keep America strong. We have to put America first. And that is the great policy of President Trump. It's nothing directed directly to the Indian people.
Okay.
And that's the point. And by the way, in response to the tariff issue that was brought up by our esteemed guest, you guys have still about 50% tariffs on your agriculture as well. So look at your great Prime Minister Modi is going to do what's going to make India great again. And President Trump is and will continue to make America great again. And I think we're blessed together. And I know that Ambassador Sergio Gore will continue
I
to do
understand it's a
great
little
work.
difficult to defend the statements made by Donald Trump and the actions taken by him. At the same time, saying we want a great relationship with India. I understand it's a little bit tricky for you tonight. Dr. Chelani, we'll of course have to wait for the fine print to come into public domain before we can say anything about that trade deal and the negotiations. But like I said, the actions don't match the words.
You're absolutely right, Swati. Actions should speak louder than words. And Trump's coercive negotiating playbook demands hard-nosed and skillful negotiation by India. As everybody knows, right now the US and India are negotiating a bilateral trade agreement. I think India should insist that, that if it were to grant certain market access concessions, there should be an exchange for legal guarantee from Washington that India will face standard most favored nation tariff rates, which would effectively exempt Indian goods from future unilateral Section 301 penalties. This arbitrary imposition or proposal to impose 12.5% tariffs on India, this has to be on this will come up in public hearings in next month. But this arbitrary exercise of power, using tariffs as a political weapon, as a coercive tool to extract more and more concessions from the other side. In fact, the fact is, Swati, the fact is that Trump respects countries that can hit back, and he bullies those that he can dominate. The more a country is willing to yield, the more he seeks to extract. A Harvard professor, Stephen Walt, has aptly described the U.S. under Trump as a quote-unquote predator hegemon.
Okay.
That's what the U.S. has become, a predator hegemon.
I also want to understand from you, is
They
this
become
also
a liberator of freedom and democracy around the world.
Is this
Let
also
there be no misunderstanding.
Okay, is this also a little bit of a catch-22 situation, when it comes to India? Because on one hand, of course, if you increase the fee, and that to an extent of $1 lakh, it impacts the H-1B visa holders. But otherwise, it's brain drain, which continues.
You're asking me?
Yes,
Swati?
yes.
Yes, well, the brain drain is happening because India's own domestic industry isn't providing sufficient job opportunities. But we are seeing of late a reverse brain drain, where even Indian origin, U.S. citizens, U.S. passport holders are coming to India to work in India because they prefer life in India. They prefer life in India that is not as hectic as in the U.S. It's not a rat race in India. And so we are seeing now a tendency, though it's still a nascent tendency of U.S. passport holders coming to India to work and settle permanently.
All right, so you're saying there's reverse brain drain happening as well. But if we have to grow together, Mr. Gunter, then we can't be resorting to measures that your court describes arbitrary and unlawful, and that hurts one of the trade partners. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That's all the time I have. Thank you for joining us on the debate.